today is a perfect segue into this lesson that some things are beyond our control, and that's exactly the lesson for today. That's exactly the lesson. I cannot tell you how fantastically it's got sort of orchestrated, but anyway, let's start. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadameshyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Kujantam Rama Rameti Madhuram Madhuraksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakham Vande Valmiki Kokilam Manojavam Marutatulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtham Patatmajam Vanarayutha Mukhyam Shri Ramadutam Shirasa Namami Apadam Apahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokabhiramam Shri Ramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham Dakshine Laxmano Yasya Vame Cha Janakatmaja Purato Marutir Yasya Tam Vande Raghunandanam. So I was already asked to end everything by 11 o'clock today, and we're already starting at 10:18, so it's going to get compressed. I was going to read you some very beautiful shlokas. I don't know how far we'll get, but there are some lessons which I really want to focus on. So we're in chapter 22 of Ayodhya Kanda. Ramachandra is speaking to Laxmana, and where we ended last week is Ramachandra speaking this very beautiful verse: Nigruhya rosham shokam cha dhairyam ashritya kevalam avamanam nirasyenam grihitva harsham uttamam. That give up this Hare Krishna. Sorry. Give up this.
Let me, when I am doing, please let me do now.
Give up this anger and give up this lamentation. Anger on Kaikeyi and Dasharatha. Lamentation that I will not be the king. But more importantly, be sober, and with a sober mind, hold on to the joy, the unlimited joy, Harsha Uttamam, that we have been given an order by our spiritual master, father, king and superior. So this conversation is continuing, and Lord Ramachandra says, O Lakshmana, O Saumitri, with the same enthusiasm that you were demonstrating for my coronation, use the same enthusiasm to now walk away from this whole arrangement. And you should act in such a way that our mother, and that our mother is neither Kausalya nor Sumitra, it means Kaikeyi, that our mother, whose heart we want to make sure is not becoming more painful if you entertain any conversation or thought about the coronation. And said, even for a moment, Lakshmana, I'm not interested in and I'm not eager in any way to give pain to Kaikeyi even for a moment. So I don't remember that I ever did anything or I had ever a motive to give her the slightest displeasure of any kind. And what's important is, let my father, who's always truthful, valiant, and who's always striving for the truth, be fearless. What is the fear in Dasharatha's heart? That if he violates the promise to Kaikeyi, that he will not ascend to the higher realm. So in Bhagavad Gita, we are familiar with Anaryajustam Akirtikaram Arjuna. Arjuna's hesitation to take the path of dharma has consequences. The consequences, Anarya Akirtikaram. Anarya means it's not civilized. It behooves him to be a civilized human being to follow dharma. And Akirtikaram, it's going to bring infamy to that entire line of great, great, great kings. So he says, if these preparations are not withdrawn, our father will suffer severe mental agony. So Laxmana, therefore, I want the entire arrangement for coronation to be withdrawn from here, and I proceed to the forest. So immediately begin all the arrangements for my departure, and let the king's daughter, which is Kaikeyi, let her be assured that the promise given to her will be fulfilled. This way Kaikeyi will have peace of mind, and I will put on deer skin, matted locks, and take on the garb and behavior of an ascetic. So I've decided to go to the forest without any delay. And then Ramachandra starts this whole thing. See, Lakshmana, I want you to see how all of this is in context. And you should understand that there is something higher that is operating. And what is higher, we use the word fate or destiny. In the Ramayana, the word is Daivam. And the same Daivam is there in the Bhagavad Gita when Krishna says, Karmana Daiva Netrena. That everybody is under the purview of providence. And providence is so powerful, exact, and every living being is under the control and dominance of providence. So he's saying, don't think that my misfortune has been caused by Kaikeyi. Not at all. She's just an instrument. Actually, it is providential. And you should know, Lakshmana, that Kaikeyi, who has expressed so much love for us since our childhood, especially for me, there is no other explanation for her very quickly becoming bitter and very quickly becoming so determined to send me to the forest. So there's only one explanation, that it is providential. And he says, use the word destiny, province, depending upon what word we are used to. And he is giving how to recognize that whatever is happening is providential. So first he says that the power of providence or Daivam is very, very strong. It impacts all living beings and it cannot be averted. Okay, and that is one symptom or a way to understand. So the shloka is from 20th shloka. Yat chintayantu tad daivam bhuteshvapi na vihanyate. Na vihanyate. No living entity, bhuteshu, is capable of averting the influence of Daivam. Vyaktam mai cha tasya cha patito hi viparyaya. This viparyaya, this reversal that we are seeing, or this adversity that we are seeing, Vyaktam has manifested mai cha tasya. It has manifested in my life and in Kaikeyi's. Okay. So just as much as I'm going through the difficulty, she is also, because she has uttered these words, and it is inexplicable why she would go through such a quick change of heart. Then he says, Kashchit Daivam Saunitre Yodhyum Utsahe Puman. This Daivam is not that someone can fight, anyone cannot fight. Yasya na grahanam kinchit karmano anyatra dushyate. There is no living entity in this world who can comprehend what destiny looks like. The only symptom is in the following of it, or in the manifesting of destiny and the consequences that it brings. In simpler language, we cannot see why Daivam acts in a particular way. We can only see the operation of Daivam or destiny or providence in the symptoms that it brings about in our lives. The consequences of it are only visible. So Daivam cannot be understood, it can only be recognized. So many times people ask, why is this happening to me? So it's a false question. You cannot ask why, because it's very difficult to explain. The only thing that a person can ask is, or see is, how this is happening to me and what is my way of managing through it. And so what are the symptoms of providential arrangements? He says, Sukha Dukkhe, in happiness and in distress, Bhaya Krodhau, fear and in anger, Labha Alabhau, in profit and in loss, Bhava Abhavav, in life and in death, Yatcha Kinchit Kinchit Bhutam Nanudaivasya Karmatat. All these things that come into our lives are just acts of providence, which means everyone has their share of happiness and distress, profit and loss, victory and defeat, life and death. And this is just awarded by the course of time. The same lesson Narad Muni gives in Bhagavatam. He says, I forgot the first word, but he says, this is according to time. Time brings happiness and distress. Okay. Sorry, I forgot that verse. I'm in this eagerness to keep moving. Then he says, okay, we are common people. We may not understand Daivam. But what about the elevated persons, the rishis? Can they decipher Daivam? No. Rishayo api agra tapto. Rishayo api ugra tapto. The rishis who are very knowledgeable, or ugra tapta, who put themselves through such a rigorous austerity. Daivan abhipiditaha. Even they are subject to the distress. He says, pidita, distress of Daivam. And how does that manifest? Utsrujya niyamastivan kama manyubhihi. So these two ways is providence working on the great rishis and austere persons. Kama, lust, and manyum, anger. So he's hinting towards Vishwamitra that even the great personalities previously, they are subject to this indefatigable power or exertion of Daivam. And then he says, how do you recognize? One more way of recognizing Daivam. He says, Asankalpa tam ime iva yad akasmat parivartate asankalpita. You had not imagined it. You had not imagined that something will go wrong. That's one. Second, akasmat pravartate. Just suddenly things happened without your being prepared, without your knowledge, without anything. Life just throws a whammy at you, is what we're used to saying in America. Nivartayarambha sambandha nanu daivasya karma tat. So this is the phrase that Ramachandra uses in 2 verses. He says, Nanu daivasya karma tat. Nanu means certainly. Certainly these are acts of providence. And 2 verses later, certainly these are acts of providence. Nanu daivasya karma tat. So today if you have to learn a phrase, this is the phrase. That when we are faced with something that we had not anticipated, a reversal, an adversity, something that we're trying to control in different ways, but it is completely beyond our control. It is called Nanu Daivasya Karma Tat. Okay? Now, from another angle, he is using the word Daivam, Daivam again and again. So that is a hint for Lakshmana that who's Daivam? Daivam is the Supreme Personality. So he's telling Lakshmana, don't blame Kaikeyi. This is my desire that I should go to the forest. And that desire cannot be averted. We are used to the phrase, Rakhe Krishna, Mare Ke. Mare Krishna, Rakhe Ke. Because the Supreme Lord is called Satya Sankalpa. Here he is saying, Asankalpitohi. That you had not imagined, that you had not desired this. But the Supreme Lord is called Satya Sankalpa. Whatever he desires has to happen. There is nothing in creation or beyond that can avert his Sankalpa. Now, some may say, so here's the Acharya called Tilaka, or the commentary is called Tilaka, and he says, the commentary says, please don't think that Lord Ramachandra not being coronated the king is his misfortune. It's not possible. One, because he is called Madhava. Madhava means the husband of the goddess of fortune. So in person's life, Dhava is Lakshmi or Krishna's opulence or the Supreme Lord's opulence. And Madhava, Dhava means husband, sorry. Ma is the Supreme goddess, Lakshmi Devi or Srimati Radharani. Madhava is the husband of the goddess of fortune. Therefore, a woman who does not have a husband is called Vidhava, one who does not have a husband. So one should not think that this is Lord Ramachandra's misfortune. It's not possible. So the only way that we can explain Kaikeyi's harsh speech and cold-heartedness is because she's being influenced by providence. So then he's assuring Lakshmana, see, even if my coronation has been stopped, I am not feeling dejected at all. So just like I'm not grieving, I don't want you to grieve either. So let's just pack up, and whatever water pots have been brought here for the Abhisheka, I will take bath with that water. Now that bath is not for becoming coronated, but that bath is for preparing me. And then he says, but hold on a second. These water pots are all the king's property, so I cannot use them. What I will do is I will take water from the wells or the rivers or Sarayu river that I have drawn with my own hands and use that, because at this point nothing here belongs to me. He says, Lakshmana, don't grieve on the loss of a kingdom. In fact, living in exile is more glorious than running a kingdom. Okay, I'm saying this because I'm going to show you a complete contradiction in a few minutes. So he says, more glorious than ruling over a kingdom is to live in a forest like an ascetic. And he says, Lakshmana, don't blame Kaikeyi for anything. And then, iti bruvati rame tu Lakshmana adhishirasa muhu shutva madhyam jagameva manasa dukkha harshayoho. So as Lord Ramachandra is speaking to Lakshmana, Lakshmana is standing with his head bowed down. Lakshmano adha sirasha muhu. His head is down like this. And Shutva, having heard what Lord Ramachandra is saying, Manasa dukkha harshayoho. He is having mixed feelings. There is dukkha, sadness, and harsha. The sadness that my dear brother, who is fit to be the king, and entire Ayodhya will be prosperous under his rule, is not going to be king. And happiness is, what a great person he is. Look at him, how detached, how completely free of envy or anger or any grudge against Kaikeyi. So he has these mixed emotions. Tadanubuddhya bhrukuti. Now, from that standing this way, he now raises his head, and from inside, this severe anger is awakened. And this is the Sanskrit. Just the shloka tells you how much anger there is. Tadatu buddhva bhrukuti bhruvo madhye nararushabha nishvasaha mahasarpo bilastha ivaroshiti. Lakshmana's head is high up, and bhrukuti madhye, his eyebrows are constrained or brought into this grimace, and his eyebrows has suddenly raised high with anger. And Nara Rashabha, he is the bull among men, or the not Vrishabha. Narashabha is the best among human beings. Nishvasaha, he is breathing heavily. How? Mahasarpaha, like a great snake that is hissing with anger. Why is the snake hissing? Bilastha ivaroshati. It has been disturbed from its hole. The snake that is peacefully in the hole, if you poke it, then it becomes very angry. It raises its hood, and then it's breathing heavily, ready to strike. And he says, with his frown on his face, he's looking like a lion that has been provoked. And then he raises his arm like an elephant raising its trunk, and he is looking obliquely from the corner of his eyes and casting a very, very sharp look at Rama. Oh Ramachandra, you are the best among the brave Kshatriyas, but you're speaking out of fear, the fear that if you disobey your father's order, somehow that you're going to violate dharma. This urgency with which you want to go to the forest is unwarranted, because all the people have agreed that you should be the king. How among all people can you speak about destiny or Daivam as so powerful when actually it is powerless? So Lakshmana is going to offer the view of man versus destiny. Lord Ramachandra is saying destiny is more powerful than man, And Laxmana is going to say, man is more powerful than destiny. Don't just sit like that. Take action. Do something about it. He says, why are you glorifying this useless thing called Daivam? Okay? Don't you see that these two, Dasharatha and Kaikeyi, have plotted against you? Actually, you're not going to transgress any dharma, because this promise is all unreal. If the promise were true, Dasharatha should have fulfilled this promise long ago. What is he waiting for? So this is not a promise, this is just an ill-conceived idea just to kick you out. Okay? And I'm telling you, if you are not the king, everybody is going to detest that idea. And I'm not going to just sit here and tolerate because you call it Daivam. So please forgive me for not agreeing with what you're saying. Okay? He says this whole thing about righteousness that you're talking, I hate it. I hate the fact that you are just letting go and saying, oh, this is destiny, I cannot do anything. So here's the shloka. Yeneya iyam. Okay. Yeneya magata magata daivam idham tava buddhir mahamate. Oh Mahamati, you have great intelligence, but sahi dharmo mama dveshya prasanga adya muhyasi. This fate that you are talking about and the fact that we are giving in, mama dveshya, I hate it. I don't like it at all. He says, why are you not giving a rational, reasonable, powerful counter argument? I am deeply pained by your passivity. Okay? Then he says, those whose minds are timid and cowardly, those are the only persons who give in to destiny. But those who are valiant and have self-respect will not accept it. I wish I had time to quote you the verse, but I don't have time. So it says, in case of someone who's capable of striking destiny with human effort, then his objective should not be defeated. You must go on. Don't just say, oh, circumstances are not helping me. He says, today, everybody here will witness the power of a human effort that can overcome destiny. I will show it to you. And people will see my valor. Okay? Just the way they are seeing you not being the king, they will see my valor. He says, I will make destiny tamed like an animal. Right now it's running like this mad elephant, but I will use the goad. It's called Ankusha. The goad to calm this wild animal. And who can stop me? Nobody. Lokapalas tata. Lokapala samantata. Let all the Lokapalas. There are primarily 4 Lokapalas. Indra, Yama, Varuna and Pitris, I think. I forget the 4th one. These are the persons who make sure the universe is being managed properly. He says, even they cannot stop me. Today, Ramachandra, I will make sure that your coronation will not be stopped. And he calls him, O King, Rajan, which means in Laxmana's mind, he has already coronated Lord Ramachandra as the king. And he says, Aham tada asham. Right now, the desire of these two. Who are these two? Chetyasi pitus tatas tasyacha. Our father Pituhu tasyacha, and that one, that woman. Abhisheka vighatena putra rajaya vartade. He says, I shall frustrate the desire of our father and that woman who plans the kingdom for her son by obstructing your coronation. And anyone who opposes me will be sorry, because the power of destiny will not be a match to my arrow. Okay? And he says a few more things. Then he says, here's a beautiful verse. And the verse is, and there's an application for this verse. Laxmana says, No shobha yathar vimau bahu na dhanur bhushanaya me. These arms are not intended to enhance the beauty of my body. Okay? Na dhanur bhushanaya me. And this bow is not for decorating my shoulder. Na sira bandhanarthaya. And the sword that I am carrying is not just for putting it on my waist like this and not using it. Na sharas tambhave hat. And these arrows that are in the quiver are not just for sitting there and not being used. He says, Amitra damanarthaya me sarva me tacha tushtayam. These are meant for amitra damanarthaya, for suppressing or subduing anyone or anything unfavorable. Now Lakshmana is using it to speak in the context of punishing anybody who will oppose the coronation. But the inner meaning is that each one of us has a capable body and certain resources and gifts and talents. So Lakshmana has powerful arms, sword, bow, arrows. So each one of us has these. We have sharp intelligence, or a tongue that is sharp like a sword, certain arrows, which means skills, okay, and arms to perform seva. What are these meant for? All the limbs of our body, all the resources are meant to be used for subduing anything that is unfavorable for bhakti. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhaktir Uchyate. So Lakshmana is speaking as a wonderful advanced devotee, and his anger for Lord Ramachandra not being coronated the king is justified, because that's the power of love. So I'm skipping some verses, and Lord Ramachandra says, listen Saumitri, I understand your anger. I understand what you're feeling for me. However, Vishrujya Bhashpam Parisantavya Chasakrutam. This is Vimrujya Bhashpam. Lord Ramachandra is wiping away Lakshmana's tears, Bhashpavam, and he's calmed him down, and he says, Uvacha, Ramachandra is speaking, Pitraye Vachanam Vyavasthitam. I am completely fixed in fulfilling the words of my father. And he says, Nibodha Mameshwahi Saumya Satpataha. This path is for saintly persons. And he is calling him Saumya. He is invoking Lakshmana's gentle nature. O Lakshmana, O Saumya, Nibodha. The word Nibodha means you should know. So the hint is Lakshmana, he is reminding him, the reason that we have advented is not to sit here in Ayodhya. We have advented to go to the forest and ultimately kill Ravana. So Nibodha is that clue. Hey, don't stop this. Okay, so that's where chapter 23 ends. I'm going to quickly give you some lessons, not that I'm giving you lessons, some lessons that are very useful and something to think about. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 main lessons. So first one, let's compare Bhagavad Gita situation with Ramayana situation. In Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna says, I do not want to fight. I want to go to the forest. And Krishna tells him, Klaibhyam asmagava partha. Klaibhyam means don't be impotent. Okay? And here, Laxmana also calls it impotency or cowardice. Cowardice. He says, only people who are cowardly will go away to the forest, Ramachandra. Don't go to the forest, stand here and fight. And Ramachandra says, no fighting, I go to the forest. Very opposite instructions. Here Krishna says, stand and fight, don't go to the forest. Here Ramachandra says, don't fight, go to the forest. Okay? So, the word used by Lakshmana is Viklabam. Viklabam means Klaibhyam is cowardice. So why such opposite instructions? So that's something to think about. We'll come back to it. Second, what if Lakshmana never spoke up and said, okay Ramachandra, whatever you say, forest it is, let's go. Then readers of the Ramayana may feel like Lakshmana. Hey, what is this? If Ramachandra was offered the kingdom, but he didn't fight for it, then what kind of a king is he? How can he protect us? How can he protect anyone? And a second lesson is, oh, should everyone be passive? So whatever happens in life, just stand there and say, yeah, this is what destiny is. This is my fate. What can I do? It is called, Lakshmana is sort of playing the role where he's challenging Ramachandra, are you being a defeatist? Are you being a fatalist? That I don't have to do anything. I really cannot do anything. I'm just powerless. Okay? But the lesson here is actually Lakshmana is making sure that he plays this role of debating with Lord Ramachandra, so we can make sure, and everyone can make sure, that Lord Ramachandra is not weak-hearted. This weak-heartedness in Bhagavad Gita is called Hridaya Daurbalyam. Krishna chastises Arjuna, your going away to the forest is Hridaya Daurbalyam. And here Ramachandra is going to demonstrate that going to the forest is actually Hridaya Balam. In fact, being provoked and fighting for the kingdom is Hridaya Daurbalyam. So in Ramayana and Bhagavad Gita, they seem like opposite instructions, but they are the same message. And the message is, please overcome the lower nature. Okay? The lower nature has certain contemplations, and Lakshmana is playing the role of that lower nature. And Ramachandra represents the higher nature. And that is the debate. So Ramachandra in the next chapter is going to show Lakshmana why in this case going to the forest is actually a higher and more noble thing to do. While in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna showed Arjuna why fighting is the higher and more noble thing to do. Same principles are being followed, just the actions or the paths seem very opposite. Okay, third lesson. Ramachandra and Lakshmana's debate highlight our inner struggle. We all go through this inner struggle. And the inner struggle is to find or to reconcile what is right and what feels right. Ramachandra is representing what is right, and Lakshmana is representing what feels right. Sometimes they may not be, most of the times they may not be the same. What feels right and what is right rarely are very similar. So what feels right comes from our conditioned nature, and the proof of it or the testimony of it is in Bhagavad Gita chapter 3 verse number 3, where Krishna says, Sadrusham cheshtate swasyaha prakriter jnanavanapi prakritim yanti bhutani nigraha kim karishyati. Every man of knowledge, even a man of knowledge, he says, Jnanavan api, even a man of knowledge, acts according to his nature. Sadrusham cheshtate swaya prakriter. Swaprakriti, my own conditioned nature, is how I will act. Even if I have all the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita that tells me do this, do that, don't think like this, don't act like that, my inner nature will come out. Why? Because prakritim yanti bhutani. Because what one has acquired, this conditioned nature, is not easy to give up. So what does repression accomplish anyway? So Lakshmana is representing our conditioned nature. Lord Ramachandra is representing our evolved nature. And those are at clash. And we are being asked to follow our evolved nature, not conditioned nature. Let me see if we have some questions. We'll take some questions. The reason I'm ending at 11 o'clock is when there is another ISKCON Chicago event that's going to go live. So I don't want to sort of clash with it. So we'll take a few minutes and see if there are any comments and questions on today's topic.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Can you hear me?
Okay? I want to apologize. I noticed that I spoke a lot faster than I usually do. I was feeling this force of time to make sure that I don't leave you hanging without the conclusions or lessons. Okay, so I'm sorry I spoke fast. If you have time, please go back and rehear and slow it down for yourself. Yeah, Yamuna Ji, go ahead.
Well, a few thoughts. One is this: that I think this topic is fantastic. Just the way you presented it, and the comparison with the Bhagavad Gita situation. I think I need to digest this a lot more. It's pretty deep stuff. Two things. One is it possible to maybe go over this again? Because I'm not so sure if the recording came out okay, and if we can do it on Zoom next time. That was one of the questions.
Here's what I can do next time. I will pick the 3 or 4 verses that Lakshmana is speaking and go over these lessons again, and I will go a little deeper as well, and I will show you, I will show how two contrasting actions fulfill the same instruction and why that is the case, and how to pick, not how to pick, but how we are challenged whether to fight or to acquiesce to fate. That one is a very tough one to go through, and one has to learn either by experience or somehow, when to do one thing and when to do the other. It needs a little bit more analysis, so I don't mind taking next week a little bit to work through it.
Sure. It's often a conundrum for a
Yes.
sadhaka whether to do or not to do.
Correct.
Is this Krishna's arrangement, or should I be doing something about this, right? Or putting some effort to switch something, or anyway. And in the course of speaking, I've lost my question, so maybe we can ask somebody else to ask.
Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
This is Radha.
Yes,
My question is that when Lakshmana was speaking about about destiny and all that, why did he mean that he hated? So he really hated the idea, and he was kind of chastising Ram, because I thought that he had very real respect for Ram.
Well, he's not hating Ramachandra. He's hating the situation. He's hating the circumstance by which he has to go to the forest. He doesn't like it. He says, Dvesha, I don't like it. I hate the situation. So I said...
Can I just... I think there is a loss of communication here. That's what I felt. She's saying that it seems like for that moment, as if Lakshman lost respect for Lord Ramachandra while he was issuing that kind of speech. So how do we understand that? That's what.
No. He already said to Ramachandra, please forgive me that I don't. Please forgive me that I don't. I don't relate with how you're seeing this. Now, if it were a relationship of student and teacher, then it is tough. They are brothers. Okay? And the fact is, we cannot determine whether Lakshmana was being disrespectful because Lord Ramchandra called him Saumitri. Saumitri means son of Sumitra, but very dear friend also. And among brothers, so you have to take multiple things into consideration. They're brothers. Lord Ramachandra in the previous week told him, you and I are like equals. We will rule the kingdom together, he said. Sardhena. So that's another reason. And the third is, in Sakhyaras, there is freedom to express without disrespect. So let's take the example of Krishna with his friends. And his friends tell Krishna, you just talk big things, but actually we are the ones that are more powerful than you. And we can defeat you in this sport very easily. Okay, so it is that kind of rasa in which there is freedom to speak. And Ramchandra didn't say, hey, I'm offended the way you're speaking. Not at all.
Then did Lakshman know that Dasharatha wanted Ram to become the king, and he was put in the promise unknowingly?
No, he knew. He knew what is going on. Ramachandra told him.
Then why did he disgrace Dasharatha?
Well, that is the love. Love for Ramachandra is very strong. The love that Lakshmana has for Ramachandra is manifesting in this way because Lakshmana has the mood of an angry young man. So that the title is given to Amitabh Bachchan, but actually Lakshmana. Lakshmana's love manifests that way. See, when there is love, different people, according to their nature, show it. Some people will keep quiet, some people will express anger, and that does not violate their love for Lord Ramachandra at all. Rasa is a very complex topic. It's not easily digestible. Okay. When Bhima says, I will kill Dushasana for disrobing and disrespecting Draupadi, that anger is his love for Draupadi and his sense of helplessness of the situation. No, Arjuna didn't say it like that, or Yudhishthira didn't say it like that, but it doesn't mean they had less love for Draupadi or that Bhima was little cuckoo. No, each personality will express their love according to who they are.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Last question, and then we're going to pause. If you have other questions, hold them, write them down, make a note somewhere, then we can pick this up next time.
This is Kirti here, Prabhu.
Yes.
You said that this is you spoke about destiny and also about action, when to respond to destiny or when to accept destiny. The thing that was coming to my mind was Vishwamitra's case, where on his journey to become Brahmarshi, he had so many obstacles, but he never gave up, and he didn't think it was destiny, I should stop here. So he just kept going. So how does one in one's life, in their pursuits, know that this is sufficient or there is more to it?
It all depends. So here's first the overall answer. Destiny never stops. It is always at play. Always. Okay? So generally we think in very binary way. Only destiny or human effort. When the reality is both need to be aligned. Okay? So depending upon our understanding of the Supreme, one needs to understand how human effort needs to work. Should human effort try to clash with destiny, or should human effort align with destiny? Okay? Generally, when a human being tries to clash with destiny, then one doesn't win that battle ever. But one who learns how to align with destiny can make miracles happen. Okay. Now Vishwamitra found out that two things were always in his way. One was lust and the other was anger. And destiny was using both of them, like in this verse, destiny was using it to stop him. So for each one of us, there are certain weaknesses. And part of Daivam is to take those weaknesses and bring them out as hurdles. That is all that destiny is doing. It is our previous choices, our previous considerations and actions that have all accumulated for Daivam to bring it as obstacles or opportunities, however you see it, on our path. Vishwamitra first few times became victim of it, and then he realized that's not how it's going to work. I need to align my efforts such that Daivam will help me transcend, not cause a challenge for me. And to learn how that is the, I guess, the art of it. You can't teach everyone art. Art is something you learn from practice. Okay, so there is the art and science both operating. I was going to say something and I forgot in giving you the example. I was going to give you another example. Story. I heard this story or the manifestation of this from my spiritual master. So when you talk of Daivam, he used the example of Haridas Thakur and the prostitute. The prostitute showed up at Haridas Thakur's door. So if it is only Daivam, then one may say, oh wow, I never went looking for her. She came to my door. This is Krishna's arrangement for me. I should enjoy with her. Because I was not looking for her, she came. But that's not what Haridas Thakur did. He used whatever Daivam manifested for him in such a way that not only he was already transcended, but not only he transcended it, but even the prostitute became fully liberated. So Daivam will constantly bring challenges, and the human effort is to make them into opportunities. I like this one. Providence will bring challenges. Human effort is to make them into opportunities. And we'll discuss more next week, but I hope that gives you something to hold on for a week.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you for all for joining, and sorry for the inconvenience. Again, it is not something that any of us could control. But one way of appreciating what we just discussed is in a serenity prayer. That prayer is something that I have been deeply impacted by or affected by, and I'm going to share it with you. So the serenity prayer, I forgot who wrote it, but I didn't write it. Someone else wrote it, and I until 5 minutes ago remembered the name. But the serenity prayer goes this way. It says, "O Lord, grant me the serenity by which I can accept things that I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference between the two." I leave you with that for the week, and until we meet again. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Sadhu, sadhu.